What is freaking up, you guys? It's Miki, and today we are back with another video. I am so excited for this one. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that this video is actually sponsored by the Great Courses Plus. You're gonna hear a lot more about how awesome they are a little bit later on in the video. It's literally 10:40 p.m. I am standing in the middle of my living room that still has no furniture, but I thought I was such a freaking genius for coming up with this idea. If you didn't already know, I am currently working as a nurse. If you couldn't already tell, I'm working as a registered nurse. I went through 4 years of nursing school and a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and hard work to get to where I am today. But I've been working since it was pretty much legal for me to work, and I've worked my fair share of service jobs, minimum wage jobs, everything like that. And so I just felt like we have come such a long way since when we started. The other day I opened up a box and I found all of my old work IDs and badges, and I was like, wow, this is just so crazy how much things have changed. So I thought I would go over with you guys every single job that I've worked up to this point, and also how much I got paid doing it, because that's what you guys all want to know. Number one, I call this job the baby entrepreneur. In California, it's not legal for you to actually work at like a bakery or at a store or anything like that until you turn 16 years old. That's when you can get your work permit. At least that's when I was a teenager. I'm not sure if the rules have changed. Double check me on that. But when I was a elementary school student, my friends would always get like allowances from their parents. Some of my friends would literally get like $20 a week, which is so crazy to me. You know, $20 is a lot of money, especially for a kid. But my parents never gave me an allowance. I don't know if it's like part of an Asian family thing, but they always asked me to earn my money. So I made like 25 cents from like taking out the trash or doing my chores, whatever it was. But obviously 25 cents isn't gonna get me very far. And so I started getting really creative and trying to think of ways that I could earn money. The first thing I ever did to make money was sell pencils to my classmates. I remember this so specifically. I was in 4th grade when I started doing this, but in 3rd grade, my parents bought me a bike. And with that bike, I used to bike to school, I would bike to the library, and sometimes I would bike to this cute little Asian gift shop store that was called Hilltop in Cupertino. It's no longer there, but I used to love going there. They basically just sell a bunch of cute stationery. And the great thing about that store is that they package all of the things that you buy in this like super cute wrapping. And because I had a bike and I made money from doing my chores, I was able to like buy some of these pencils and stuff. I'd be able to buy some of these pencils and stuff. And so I take these pencils to school and kids would be so jealous. They'd be like, oh, my parents won't let me go. Like, I have money, but I can't go to the store because my parents won't let me. And ding, 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 ding. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a business idea because I'm able to ride my bike and go to the store whenever I want to. So I started taking orders from my friends. So I was like, okay, I would buy like sample pencils for myself, and then they'd be like, okay, I want this pencil that you bought and this eraser. After school, I would ride to the store and buy these pencils, but I would sell them for double or sometimes even triple of what the price of the pencil was. And keep in mind, they aren't like super expensive, so it's like maybe like $2, and instead I was selling it for like $5 or $6. So it's making quite the profit. Definitely made a couple $100 off of that, and as a 4th or 5th grader, that is a lot of money. Number 2. I have always wanted a dog. I've been such an animal person. My mom, when she was a kid, grew up with a bunch of dogs, and my dad is like not an animal person, will not ever have animals.
Doesn't matter what kind of animal.
Like even a fish he didn't want. So every time I begged for a dog, the answer was always no. And so in order to get around the system, I was like, hey dad, what if instead I like dog sitted or watched other people's dogs for like short amounts of time? Would that be okay? And then he was like, yeah, that's probably fine, not knowing at all what he was getting himself into. And so from that point, I started a dog sitting business, not even really to make money. I just wanted to spend time with dogs, and the money was just something super nice that came out of it. I started watching people's dogs when they went on vacation, and these people were mostly like my mom's friends or people that we knew. I did low-key post a sketchy ad on Craigslist, and I got a couple of customers through that. Keep in mind, my parents were supporting me through this entire thing, and they made sure that like things weren't sketchy and things like that, and so it wasn't like all me. When I started off dog sitting, I was doing dog boarding, so it'd be like an overnight 24-hour stay, and I was charging $13. $13, you guys. I was a charity. $13. Please board my dog. Somebody please take care of Lucky for $13 a day, because I will pay you that. The prices increased as we got more experience and we knew what we were doing. And so in the end, one night of boarding is around $30 to $40 to $45 a night per dog, depending on your dog's needs, depending on the size of the dog, all like a bunch of different factors. I was making thousands and thousands of dollars over the big holidays. So for example, Christmas break or Thanksgiving break, families love to go on vacation. And so during that time, I would have maybe like 10 dogs at my house, and each dog was, you know, $30 to $40 a day. And by the end of the entirety of winter break, I would have like $3,000, which was crazy. Number 3, so dog sitting was a really long timeline, but it started early. Around the same time, I also started working as a model slash actress. And so I was in the entertainment industry. If you didn't already know, I was signed with an agency. I lived in the San Francisco Bay Area, and so obviously it's not like high fashion runway, and I'm obviously not tall enough for that either, but I have a pretty good face for commercial print. Commercial print, if you aren't familiar, is like, you know, like pictures for catalogs. So for brands like Gap, for Gymboree, I worked with brands like Apple, Google, YouTube. A lot of those commercials are shot in the Bay Area, obviously because those companies are based out in the Bay Area. Modeling was an interesting job. Modeling really taught me how to work with people and how to present myself and public speaking and skills like that. In terms of the money was really all over the place. And so if you were working as an extra on like a movie set, you were literally getting paid maybe like $150 a day for like a full freaking day. When I say a full day, it's like 12, 16 hours. And then there were projects who paid you like, I remember so specifically, there was a project that paid me $1,000 for like a 1-hour shoot. I was 14, so that was absolutely crazy money to me. All of the money that I earned from modeling went into a special Coogan bank account that you can't take out until you're 18 years old. And so obviously when I turned 18, I was able to take all that money out. Number 4, so when I turned 16, this is when I was legally allowed to work. So what happens is there is a work permit thing that I think the school needs to sign and your parents need to sign before you are actually eligible to work. And so the first ever job that I got, and I was so excited for this, I worked as a cashier at Paris Baguette. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Paris Baguette, but it's pretty popular here in the Bay Area, and I think in Southern California as well. It's this very cute like Korean bakery. I literally still have this uniform because I thought I was the cutest employee ever. So we have these like, what are these called? Barrettes or whatever. And here's my apron. This brings back the memories. I need to take a thumbnail on this. So Paris Baguette, how much did I get paid? So I was in Cupertino at the time, and the minimum wage in Cupertino was $8 an hour. So that's how much I made. I remember I always worked morning shift. That was my favorite shift. It started at 6 a.m. so I'd have to wake up at 5:30. I worked until, I want to say it was until like noon. So it was like a 6-hour shift. Really not that bad now that you think about it. And every shift that you work, you also get 1 free bread. And so I always had the best time ever picking out the pastry that I wanted to take home for my family. I was getting paid $8 an hour, and then I switched over to work at the San Jose store. And so the minimum wage for San Jose at that time was $10 an hour. And so I immediately got a $2 raise, and I thought, I was so happy, you guys. $2 made like all the difference in the world. Concurrently, at the same time that I was working at Paris Baguette, I was also working as a immunology intern, basically a lab assistant at a lab. It was pretty cool. I was an intern, and so a lot of my job was washing dishes, so like washing all of the plates, but they also did let me do some science stuff. I did do cell cultures, worked with lab rats for a lot of things, did a lot of ELISA. I remember when they sent me my job offer, they offered me $8 an hour, and I was already getting paid $10 an hour at Paris Baguette. I negotiated for I think I asked for $10.50. And so I sent a negotiation email and the boss actually approved it. So I was getting paid, I think, $10.50 for, I don't remember, maybe it was like the first 6 months. And then I think I got a little bit of a raise to $11 after 6 months, and I worked there for about a year. College time. So now everything moving forward is stuff that I did in college. So in college, I worked a variety of different jobs. When I was in college, this is when I started working as a caregiver. And so as a caregiver, I took care of a patient who was actually a UCLA student. And so I just assisted him with activities of daily living. It was really, really awesome because I was already on campus and he's also on campus, and so it was super convenient. My first caregiver job, they paid me, I think it was $17 or $18 an hour. I forget what number we're on, but this is the time that I started my journey as an Instagram influencer, or whatever the heck you want to call it. But this is the time when I really, really got into photography, video editing. Those are all things that I've like really, really loved doing this entire time, but didn't really take seriously until I got into college. That has led me to a really exciting journey of being able to edit videos, to take on brand sponsorships, to create content for amazing companies that I never, ever, ever imagined I'd have the chance to work with. So everything I know about video editing, photography, all that stuff is all self-taught, and I've like slowly learned and accumulated over time. I've learned that my best learning style, I learn best when I can go at my own pace and rewind and fast forward as I need, and you know, can like learn at my own convenience, and I'm not like forced to learn at a certain time in a certain place. So I mentioned this before, but the Great Courses Plus is an online video subscription service that allows you to have access to over 11,000 videos from amazing professors from top-notch universities and institutions worldwide. You can watch these lectures on your computer, on your tablet, on your phone. It's super easily accessible. No matter what kind of topic you are trying to learn, they have something for you. I'm always about being a better version of myself, trying to learn new things. So 2 courses in particular I've really been loving is the Masters of Mindfulness. I've talked about this before. I initially learned about mindfulness when I was a student at UCLA, and it's just a practice that I have kept up and continue to do every single day. The other course that I have been loving is the Fundamentals of Photography. I have learned so much about cameras and filming and taking pictures, but I still have a long way to go. So the professor for that course is actually a regular contributor to National Geographic magazine, and he has the best tips ever, and he makes all of these really complicated concepts sound really simple, which I really, really love. The greatest part about all of this is that you can actually get a free trial of the Great Courses Plus. I highly, highly recommend it. It's a free trial. You really can't go wrong here. You can go to the greatcoursesplus.com/Miki Rai. I'm going to put it right here on the screen and also in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. So me learning social media stuff and photography and things like that led me to accepting a position within UCLA that actually let me combine my love for healthcare and also social media. And so I was actually running social media for a division of UCLA Health, which was the coolest thing ever. I was essentially creating content for them, so educational content. I was organizing their website, their blog, and also taking photos for their gift shop. That job was paying me, I don't remember exactly, I think it was $23 an hour. More importantly than anything, I love that job to death because it allowed me to combine two of my favorite things. I'm pretty sure I got all of it. I definitely did a lot of unpaid stuff that is not mentioned in this video. I volunteered over 1,000 hours back when I was in high school and also throughout college as well. After I worked those positions, I landed my very first nursing job in Los Angeles. And in case you didn't watch my last video and you want to know how much I got paid, I think I started off getting paid $45 an hour, and all new grads at my hospital got paid the same. Once you were off probation at the 6-month mark, you got a raise, and then at the 1-year mark, you also got a raise, and we were also protected by the union, so there was a certain percentage that your hourly rate would go up each year, which was really, really awesome. I always think about like if I even got paid $1 for every hour of clinical I did in nursing school, I'd be so much richer right now. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below and tell me what your first ever job was and how much you got paid for it. I'm really, really curious to see. Please give this video a thumbs up for that YouTube algorithm and hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so that you don't miss my weekly uploads. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Could swear it's been 700 degrees in here since you came in. I could swear that this room has been running out of air, and now it's starting to spin.